Aurora versus Cindra has very quickly become one of my favorite matchups since the Hunted released. From Cindra's point of view, you're looking to go as wide as possible every turn, forcing your opponent to give you Mask of Momentum or getting multiple cards out of their hand, and you can even extend Mask of Momentum by using Flick Knives to keep that chain link alive. Cindra also gets a lot of value out of her defense reactions in this matchup. Being able to play cards like Shelter from the Storm and Sink Below let you cover up breakpoints, which is pretty much all Aurora is. From Aurora's point of view, we're looking to use cards like Sigil of Suffering, Shelter from the Storm, and Electromagnetic Somersault to be able to play defense and apply pressure while playing offense. Being able to block with 2 cards with Electromagnetic Somersault and then get them back to continue attacking can really go a long way. Plus, you can also use Somersault as offense if you need to. One of the best things you can do as Aurora is use Shelter from the Storm to discard. If you discard it, you can really slow down Mask of Momentum by stopping Flick Knives and any like breakpoint damage that comes across the top. So our defense reactions really line up well for us. And I think that that makes this a very nuanced and fun matchup. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoy the video. All right, we're playing against Cindra, and we are going first. Our opponent does not have any Arcane Barrier lined up against us, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to activate Grasp, and then I'm just going to pass here. Since they don't have any AB, I'm pretty interested in just like having a Rune Chant for next turn. We're going to Arsenal the Lightning Surge, and we're going to set up. If we had drawn into a Channel Lightning Valley, we would be in a really good position to just like get very aggressive next turn. The Rune Chant basically sets up the draw for free. Blocking Mask is not a very easy thing to do unless you have defense reactions. So we're going to have to look at this hand and determine whether we just want to give them Mask or if we're okay blocking with multiple cards. We're probably just going to give them Mask. Like that is probably almost going to be like, unless we have defense reactions, it's going to be like an almost every turn kind of thing. So we have Scar for a Scar into Lightning Surge, Entwine Lightning fuse with a Gone in a Flash, Arcanic Shockwave fuse with a Gone in a Flash, Arsenal the Gone in a Flash. I mean, that's a pretty good play. We also have the option to block with Arcanic Shockwave on the Rising Resentment, hope they don't have an Ancestral Empowerment. And then from there, we can go Scar for a Scar into Lightning Surge into... We'll probably have to block with the Gone in a Flash, which means we'll probably just end up arsenaling the Entwine Lightning and setting up for another turn. I would like to deny them Mask if we can. Now, it's not always possible to deny them Mask. Some hands just don't have the capability. But since they've led on kunais and they're trying to use head jabs here to push Mask of Momentum across the table, I'm pretty interested in doing what we can. This actually feels pretty good. Now, they do have an arsenal already, so like it's not like we're really denying them a ton of value. We could give up the Mask here if we wanted to, just to be able to keep our hand. Would technically allow us to play a very efficient hand and not have an arsenal. But I still think that our hand is lined up pretty well for us here. We're just going to throw 9 at our opponent, and then we're going to Arsenal the Entwine Lightning. I want to continue to be setting up Arsenals every single turn if I can. The more times we can Arsenal, the better off we're going to be set up for next turn. And then we're going to throw Lightning Surge. We could throw the Entwine Lightning without fusing and Arsenal the Lightning Surge, or leave our Lightning Surge in Arsenal. It is a lightning starter, so it does get a lot of value being in our arsenal. But I don't know. I like having the Entwine Lightning in Arsenal. It sets up pretty well. It's, for the most part, just basically free go again. So I think this feels pretty good. They have a Wax on. Okay. So their last card was a D-React they wanted to Arsenal anyway. So denying them Mask. Giving them Mask on the second one wouldn't have really mattered, but denying them Mask on the first one was pretty good. Denying them Mask on the Rising Resentment mattered because they probably would have drawn into like a 0 for 3 or a 0 for 4. But denying them Mask on the Lava Burst was just kind of over extra blocking there. Well, this hand is not great. This hand is not great at all. We are probably just going to be discarding the Trip Delight Fantastic and then blocking with our hand here. It's probably going to be what's going to happen. I'm just going to go ahead and discard this. Because it allows us to break up the individual damage, like we're just able to block the kunai for free. And then as long as we block appropriately the rest of the turn, we're able to block flick knives pretty easily as well. So it works out pretty conveniently here. Them being forced to pitch the Art of the Dragonfire means that their hand is probably kind of awkward. Not necessarily, but maybe kind of awkward here. So, I mean, I think I'm just going to block this. If I have a turn where I'm able to take like minimal damage from them, I will keep a hand that does that. That feels pretty good to me. I still think I'm just going to block Heaven's Claws. They're going to flick. It's going to deal 0 damage to me. Interesting. That I would not have picked. I would have assumed you wanted to flick and then get both your daggers back. I mean, I don't know what reason you have for not getting both of your daggers back here. I'm not going to give this go again, and I'm not going to show them the channel, because if there is a chance they are on disruption cards, like Command and Conquer, I do want them to be throwing them at me so that we can continue to, like, we can just have a blowout play where they end up pitching 1 or 2 cards to throw Command and Conquer at me, and then we're just like, well, here's a channel. Like, so it's I think it's a better play to Arsenal the channel, not because they're likely playing Command and Conquer, but because of the potential it has. We're also continuing to set up 5-card hands here. We're going to get to play both offense and defense this hand. This is going to be really good for us. We're going to get to play the channel, and then we're going to get to play the Sigil of Suffering. I still think we're going to take this. We can block more if we wait. Excuse me. There's almost assuredly going to be a 4 at some point on this turn, so I'm pretty interested in just waiting however I can here. When you have the Sigil of Suffering and Channel Lightning Valley play, it just feels so powerful. Especially against an opponent who has 0 AB. It's so good. All right, we're down 2. Our opponent has 2 cards in an arsenal here. They have not used Flick Knives. Ugh. Feels so awkward. I really don't want to give up equipment, but I mean, I guess we're just going to play Channel and the Sigil here. It's so awkward. I hate not getting the maximum value out of our turn cycle here, but it is what it is. I just, there's only so much we can do here. We are denying them mask here in this instance, but maybe not. Hand's kind of interesting. Well, turns out it would have been good if we would have waited, but I'm actually just willing to take 5 and give them an extra card here. This doesn't have go again unless they want to break the flight paths here, and we're just going to fall down to 27 and give them 2 cards to choose between arsenaling here. I think this works out pretty well. I hate that our Sigil of Suffering only got like the 2 points of block value there. I don't know what they're trying to undo. Oh, did they not pick on both of their daggers? They might not have clicked both of them. Oh no, they are going to give it go again. Okay, so we're down 7, and they decided that that was worth getting go again there. I'm pretty surprised to see that decision. That probably could have been saved for another turn. Yeah, we've committed. We've given the mask at this point. We're just going to fall down to 24. And we're going to play 2-hour hand here. We're going to lead on Ravenous Rabble because leading on Rabble gives us the knowledge of knowing what we're going to draw into and how we want to play this turn. So that's really where we're coming from here. Like, I'm not interested in arsenaling the current funnel, so I'm not going to draw a card. off of E-Strike draw a card here. I mean, I guess we could, and we could have an additional blue here. Might be another card behind that we want. Like, how aggressive do we want to get with our snaps here? I guess is really going to be our question. So it's going to be E-Strike. We're going to name draw a card. The Rune Chant happens. We trigger Channel Lightning Valley. We draw a Current Funnel. We draw an Electrostatic Discharge. So this pretty much went as poorly as it could have. I'm going to snap and then come in for 5. We've not played a lightning card. So if I want to activate Aurora, I'm going to... Yeah, this is really not great. I would have to... I could play Discharge, come in with Starfall, and then activate Aurora to set up for next turn. I can also just throw the Current Funnel and then Arsenal the Discharge. If I need to use Crown of Providence, I can still keep a 5-card hand. This feels incredibly bad. Feels incredibly bad to have drawn into a Discharge like that. I really hate that that's how that lined up for us. Having the blue on top was overall just a really big bummer for the entire turn, to be honest. I'm going to say no blocks. We are going to play Shelter from the Storm as a block 4. Generally, I'm a pretty big fan of discarding it to like prevent the extra value that we can with the Flick Knives and Daggers and yada, yada, yada. But I think whenever we can get value of blocking 4 out of it, we should. I kind of like our hand the way it's set up. Our hand feels pretty clean right here, so we're just going to take a little bit of damage and go into next turn with a pretty positive hand. We're only down 7 points. About to be more, it appears. Yeah, I mean... Oh, this is not Mask, so this will just put us to 12. Yep, so we're going to fall down to 12. Being down 14 is tough. I mean, we have a decent hand. Our hands have not really come together to play offense here really well. Our opponents went 4 or 5 wide pretty much every turn this game, which, I mean, to be fair, they are playing Cindra. Like, it's very expected. We're just waiting on our opponent to refresh here. They're just kind of, they probably don't realize they need to refresh the page. Is that somewhere? Oh, maybe they were just waiting to do that. I don't know. Anyway. All right, so we're down quite a bit. We're gonna have to have a pretty good one right here. We're gonna have to have a pretty good one right here. I'm going to play this to give it go again. Curious to know if they have a defense reaction. They do not. We're going to come in. This is just going to be buff power, so it's going to be 10. And then we're going to Arsenal Shelter from the Storm. Just trying to level up the life totals a little bit here. Setting up a defense reaction feels really good. What a hand. What a hand. Yep, Crown of Providence is looking pretty good right here. We're going to put one of these somersaults on the bottom. Having all 3 somersaults in our hand is actually wild. Burn Up and Shock feels a little bit better. I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely wanted to see an attack action here because it means we could have just blocked with a couple of cards and then made something happen. Like an Entwine Lightning would have been a great draw. Scar for a Scar would have been okay. We had a couple of pretty good defensive options we could have picked up there. We're just going to bounce this back to our hand. Our hand is what I would call extremely extra medium right now. So there's one bad, like these one bad hands in like these aggro matchups can really hurt you. We've seen one Lava Burst, and we've seen they did not float a resource, so it's not going to be a one-coster here, which means Lava Burst is probably like the only card that we could really like get more value out of the shelter from. We could take 3 if we wanted to. Actually, it's just not worth it, right? I think we're better off to make this play. We can just put this back into our hand here. And then we can go Burn Up and Shock into the Gone in a Flash. So we do get some value out of the shelter from the storm, which feels pretty good. I was like, I assume they're going to activate Cindra. We're going to take 1. Fall down to 10. I'm actually just going to play the Gone in a Flash here, and I'm going to try and save the Burn Up and Shock. If there's potential for me to have like one big turn here to try and close the game out, that would be ideal. Considering they said no blocks very quickly. Okay. Them giving me a defense reaction here is actually very solid for us. I know that like them not taking any damage kind of sucks, but considering that we're at 10, the less cards they have, the better off we're going to be. So this hand is what I would call extra medium. We'll take this one. We'll take this one. The shelter can still get 3 value here. Scar for a Scar. Art of the Dragon Blood could be really... Oh, I think we're going to give the shelter here. I think still giving the shelter is correct. Okay, that puts us to 6. We are going to go ahead and give the shelter. We're going to take 1 and go to 5. And then we'll see what they follow up with here. We have the ability to deny them Mask here by blocking with Carapace. What is their last card? Are they just going to Arsenal it? Interesting. Okay. So both sides of Burn Up and Shock, it's got to be a defense reaction. Like it's almost assuredly a defense reaction here. We put them to 11. We come in for 4 go again because we are a lower life total than them. They are almost instantly going to say no blocks and give me that defense reaction. I would think anyway. They could give me a 3-block invest here. Keeping the Flick Knives seems too important for them. Okay, I mean, sure. And then I'm going to pitch the Lightning Surge to throw Starfall. This is going to be 2 go again with the same on-hit effect. They're probably just going to give me Mask here. And then I'm going to throw Snatch at them, which has like a really good ability here. If they have the defense reaction, if they drew into a defense reaction, they are going to give it to me at this point. Like it almost has to be that. I don't know what else they would have drawn. They could have thrown Lava Burst. They could have used the Vest for almost anything. Wow, really? I mean, I am at 5, so this is not looking great. That also makes sense. They could not play that. Defensively, they could not play that. If we are able to keep 2 cards, we can win the game. I don't know how feasible that is from here, but if we can keep 2 cards, we can win the game. We have to be able to keep Arc Lightning and Rabble. This is going to be 1 arcane. The Rabble's going to be another arcane. They probably have shelters, actually. So that like might not even be like guaranteed lethal. Okay, so they definitely have something they're gonna throw at us. I think I have to go to 3 here. I don't think I have a choice. I think I have to go to 3. By that I mean I have to go to 2, which means if they have the 1 for 5, we're dead. We were dead no matter what, though. If they have the 1 for 5, we're dead. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we can't beat this ever. Like, we're literally just dead to this card. Man, that was a really close game. That was a really close game. I'm definitely going to have to go back and watch this one and see where I could have gotten more points, but going first is probably one of the biggest reasons we lost, but our opponent played well and we just fell short in the end. On turn 2, we draw into Channel Lightning Valley and Triple Blue. It was really disappointing to see such a lackluster hand, especially after we set up such a good 0 for 4 in Arsenal. If we had seen like a couple of reds and a blue there to go with the channel, we probably just get to take their turn, maybe even give them mask, and then play a ton of offense. I really wish that'd been the case, but even with that in mind, our opponent's hand wasn't that great, and Trip the Light Fantastic actually would have saved us from Flick Knives if they had made the decision to use it that turn, so we were able to take 0 damage right there, and then throw 4 at them and Arsenal a Channel Lightning Valley. On turn 3, we had a really good play where we could play Channel Lightning Valley from Arsenal, and then play Sigil of Suffering from hand, guaranteeing that we can cover up a breakpoint, and we can draw a card to play offense with. The problem was 2 of their first 3 attacks were both ignites. I didn't want to block an ignite with my Sigil of Suffering. I wanted to save it so that I could get a full value out of it and block efficiently. I ended up trying to deny them mask, which I think was incorrect. I should have just let them have mask of momentum off of the ignite, because when they threw the breaking point at me, it would have been absolutely insane value to block for 2 extra points, 2 more than we got the way I played it, and we still would have ended up with the same hand. Now on the following turn, having the blue on top of the deck was very unfortunate. It is what it is. With the Rabble and the E-Strike, it made for a very awkward situation. But if I had been more patient the following turn, we could have saved 2 points. And as close as this game was, it might have gotten us there in the end. Going into my turn 7, I was hoping to keep my hand, which would allow me to take multiple cards out of their hand or put them low enough to where we could get within Shock or Arc Lightning range. My opponent ends up at the very end of the turn taking the Snatch and the Burn Up because it puts them down to 3, and they're able to keep 3 cards in an arsenal, which was enough for them to finish off the game. Guys, if you see anything you think I missed, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.